Ancestral, a Native European Spirituality by Stephen A. McNallen. Chapter 2. The Blessings of Our Ancestral Faith. Why should anyone care about an ancient religion called Ancestral? It sounds archaic, musty, like something out of a museum, something suited for the Viking Age, but not the modern world. What does Ancestral offer real people? More bluntly, what's in it for you? In a society as self-centered as ours, that's the only place to start. Our lives are driven by profit and pleasure, not by idealism or any values beyond our own needs. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing bad about profit and pleasure, but there are bigger things to consider. Forgetting those grander ideas, duty, honor, right living, for a moment, let's look at what Ancestral can do for the individual. I'll use myself, for example. For me, the benefits of Ancestral have been many. An awareness of my connection to my ancestors and the ability to draw strength from them. It gives me an immeasurable sense of well-being to know that I am part of a line of ancestors transcending time, space, and morality. Once I made that spiritual and emotional link, I have never been lonely. But more than that, through rites such as Symbol, which we'll talk about later, we can draw upon the traits of our forebears, their courage, endurance, and strength, and use them to empower us today, belonging and fellowship. Although you can follow Ancestral without belonging to any local or national groups, much of the richness of our faith lies in the connections it builds to others. It's good to share ideas with like-minded men and women, to sit at a meal alongside them, to call them friend. Humans are hardwired for family, clan, and tribe. And while it's healthy to enjoy your solitude, even the most independent of us longs for the understanding of a fellow soul. Greater self-esteem and a sense of vast personal potential. We are kin in the gods and goddesses. Their divine sparks live within us. And our challenge should be to choose it, to accept it. It's to actualize this God nature and evolve into more than we are now. The holy scriptures of some religions may tell you that you're insignificant, or that you're born to do God's will, not your own. But these ideas are the exact opposite of the meaning of Ancestral. Techniques for spiritual growth. The idea we have the divine nature within us, and we can develop the nature so that we become more like the holy powers, suggesting some work on our part. It doesn't happen on its own. Discipline, will, focus, practice, and of course the difficulties that life throws at us all contribute to our personal evolution. Spiritual might can be accumulated in many ways. Some of the more apparent ones are performance of the rites of our faith, the successful accomplishment of difficult tasks, and immersion in the esoteric wisdom of our religion. Heightened appreciation for the gift of life. Ancestral is a world-accepting religion. We believe in this world as good thing, not something to be scorned as unspiritual or something we just suffer through so that someday we can go to our reward in the hereafter and get on with the real deal. Life is good, better than we can know. It's noble to want to be worthy of a hero's paradise in Valhalla, but first we need to be worthy of this life in this world. A clear set of standards by which to live. No, we don't have anything like the 10 Commandments. There are other ways to express a code of behavior, as you will see in chapter 13. People want to know what the rules are, but they want rules that make sense. Rules that reinforce their highest instincts. Rules that trust them to use their wits as human beings and as kin to the gods to make decisions. Answer to the big questions of humans' existence. As acquiring beings, we want to know the grander scheme of things. We want to understand the larger questions that lie beyond our concerns with food, shelter, and sex. Things like our purpose and destiny, where the universe came from, our relationship with the divine, and happens after we die. Ancestral offers answers. Ancestral as connections. Let us summarize some of the blessings of Ancestral in visual form. I like to describe Ancestral in terms of connections with ancestors who gave us life, with our descendants yet to come, with our living kin, with the divine powers or gods, and with the natural world around us. Each of these connections implies certain gifts and corresponding duties. Think of yourself as suspended in space. Behind you is the past. In front of you is the future. Below you is the earth, the world of nature. Above you is the divine. Arrows or lines extend from you in these different directions, leaving you at the center of these axes. A vertical axis, a rear to front axis, and a left to right axis. Behind you are your ancestors, all those men and women known and unknown who passed the torch of life to you. Without them, you would have never been. In front of you are your descendants to whom you will give the gift of life. If you have never been, there would never be. Stretching out to your left and right are your living kin, men and women of your family and extensions of your family, all who bear your heritage. They're journeying throughout life within you. Above you are the holy powers, the gods and goddesses. Below you lies the earth, the natural world that sustains us and blesses us with beauty. Benefits and responsibilities. What do we get from these connections, and what do we give in return to uphold our end of the bargain? First, consider the ancestors. In the traditional view, the ancestors were still a part of the community, although unseen. The family or clan has no limit by space, time, or death. Today, we think of death as a wall, a solid and impenetrable barrier through which nothing can pass. Our ancestors viewed it differently. To them, death was more like a thin curtain. Through that veil, the ancestors send us love, inspiration, spiritual guidance. They give us the unexpected bit of luck when it matters the most, that hunch that comes out of nowhere, and of course, they give us life. We respond to these gifts by remembering and honoring them. We tell their stories to our children and keep photographs on the mantle. Perhaps we call them on their birthdays or put flowers on their graves. Looking to the future, we have our descendants. From them, we get love. There are few things sweeter than the love of sons and daughters, and the delights of grandchildren are famous. By their very existence, they give us hope for the future. On a more practical side, they help us, and if need be, take care of us in our old age. Our descendants will remember us when we're gone, sending us love through the veil between the worlds after we are in the grave. Remember, we are all ancestors in training. Ideally, our kin should be our ultimate support group. In our drawing, they stand shoulder to shoulder with us as we go through lives together. They give us love, encouragement, and advice. Sometimes their help is down to earth, as a loan for a car. It can be intangible as the quiet joys that bind us together across the miles and throughout the years. Modern life has made a harsh of our families and forced us to accept substitutes, but nothing beats the organic connection of true kinship. Of course, it is our duty to open-handed and open-hearted responding in kind. Looking above, we have the holy powers. They are our elder kin, not our masters. They connect to us and similar to one we have with our flesh and blood family. They will help us, especially if we bother to build a relationship with them. But often their love is of the tough kind. They won't coddle us. We are supposed to be intimate for their best features and become more like them. Wise like Odin, stronger than Thor, more joy-filled than Freya, more potent like Frey, and so forth. They are templates for higher evolution. And what do we give them? In the words of one ritual, we give them our might, our main, our troth, meaning our personal striving and futurance of highest ideas. The gift of our spiritual power, and finally our loyalty. We remember them, honor them, and try to become more like them. Below our feet lies our beautiful earth, and around us all of our nature, from the ladybugs in our garden to the stars over our heads. People talk a lot about connection with nature these days, but like so many good phrases, it has become a mindless mantra that no longer conveys compelling imagery. We need to bring back the immediacy of nature. It is the source of our substance, and if we abuse nature or think we can violate its laws at a whim, we will be corrected for our mistakes. Earth is the giver of life and of plenty. Nature feeds not only our bodies but our souls. In the rising and setting of the sun, the magnificent of fields of wildflowers, the smell of rain, the sound of the wind and the mountain pines, all we need to do is to access this beauty is to notice the world around us. Nature gives us all a feeling of connection with something larger than ourselves. And of course, it's nature manifesting as the material universe around us, which provides us with experiences leading to our growth. Losing and regaining connection. When we're forced to abandon our natural spirituality, our lines of connection were mangled, twisted, and almost severed. Some bits and pieces remained, but the old wholeness was gone. Luckily, that which was lost now can be discovered. We can experience the love, the fellowship, and the opportunities for growth offered by our ancestral wisdom. All we have to do is come home to the heart and soul of our heritage. And the next step is to examine the nature of the divine essence in the world and in ourselves.